First of all, what is the Archbishop of Paris's position on the trial today?
Well, the Archbishop of Paris does not have a special personal position as such. He's simply standing along with his brother, the Archbishop of Lyon. Primate of the Gauls.
But he and you must be worried about the effect this scandal has been having on the Catholic Church.
Well, of course, it is a scandal, but it is something that is very exceptional. It is the result of mistakes, and these mistakes, well, they are not dodged; they must be confessed. See, Cardinal Barbarin is not a criminal. He confessed. As we saw a few minutes ago, he confessed to making mistakes. If we can be a little more accurate, these mistakes were, first of all, to underestimate the suffering of the victims of Father Prenat and other victims of pedophiliac priests. And then the mistake also was to do as if, because this had happened such a long time ago, Father Prenat was normal again and could be trusted and could be promoted. And those, of course, were mistakes. But, of course, the Archbishop of Paris and the Archbishop of all, the worry of all bishops nowadays is simply to try to avoid this kind of tragedy and to fight as much as they can with all their strength and determination, simply to avoid that these things, to prevent these things from happening again. However, we have no certainty, because you see, this kind of crime, which is not specific to the Church, by the way, as everybody knows, is not because of the Church or because of the way the Church behaves or because of Church policies. It is something that is, in a way, unavoidable. And that has to be fought, but it cannot be escaped. See, Jesus said something very important in the Gospel. He says, of course, woe to the one who is responsible for scandal, but he also said, and this is just before, if you read the Gospel, no one can prevent scandals from happening. And what is scandal? Scandal is simply somebody losing faith or making another lose faith.
But one thing
this is what the Church wants to avoid. Avoid scandal means to avoid people losing faith.
But this is something that we are seeing globally. This isn't just a French issue. We've seen this in Chile, Germany, the United States, Australia. And many people could argue it's a generational thing. It's something that happened only 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But the thing is the Church's image is steadily declining. Attendance at Mass is dropping off around the world. Do you feel that the Pope, going up to that level, needs to do something to try and turn around the future of the Catholic Church?
Well, actually, the problem is not the decline of church attendance is not due to pedophiliac priests.
One could argue that it's all part of the same thing.
There are many other reasons, but one of the reasons is that it is, we say, a Christian invention that is backfiring. And this Christian invention is simply secularism and secularity. The separation of church and state was introduced by Christianity. Secularism cannot be found anywhere except in countries with a Christian heritage. Or biblical heritage more broadly. Now the Church has to fight this a misunderstanding of what the independence or the autonomy of the secular, as the medieval theologian said, what this actually means. So it does not mean forgetting about the Church, but it means that the areas, the domains, have to be very carefully distinguished.
We heard one of the victims at the end of that piece saying that he thinks this should go beyond Cardinal Barbarin. This is something that really needs to change at the heart of the Church. What's being done concretely at the local level, for example, here in France, to make sure this kind of thing never happens again?
Well, the first measures were taken adequately long before, in 2000, exactly in the year 2000, when the first whistleblowers showed up. And since then, I would say that the rules and the directions coming from the National Conference of French Bishops have been more and more accurate. Bishops receive new directives virtually every week. And they have already done a lot. What they still have to realize is that this kind of thing cannot be erased. And this is exactly what they have to face. But I think that this will not be decisive to bring more people to the Church. To bring more people to the Church, they will have to realize what God is about and what priests, who are not sinners, most of them, or not this kind of sinners anyway, what priests are trying to tell them.
Last year, bishops in France created a commission petition that was aimed at shedding light on pedophilia in the church in France. What's happening with that report? It's due to come out in 2020. Do we have any preliminary findings?
No, we don't. I mean, they are gathering, as far as I know, they're gathering the commission, and this is going to be a long and arduous work. And of course, we won't probably hear much about the proceedings of that commission until they are ready to offer their report.
This is a very divisive issue, obviously. Even within the church itself, there's a French priest, a controversial priest, some might say, Father Pierre Vignon, who started a petition urging Cardinal Barbarin to resign. 100,000 people signed that petition. Do you think it might be the right thing for Cardinal Barbarin to do, to resign in the face of this scandal?
Well, it is for his decision to make, not mine, and not other people. They can ask. If Cardinal Barbarin, which, as I suppose, and I have every reason to think, considers that he has done his duty and he has not made any mistake that would invalidate his ability to fulfill his mission, there is no reason why he should resign. I mean, the problem. I mean, I think that this is a very strange decision because it suggests that the problem is one person. If that person goes, there will be no problem. I don't think that's the right apprehension of the real problem.
Jean Duchesne, thank you so much for coming in to speak to us here on France 24. Monsieur